Good morning or good afternoon from wherever you are, and welcome to this short clip that will be dealing with modeling a portal frame in Revit structures. So that's just Revit, but making use of the structural functions. So my name is Jacobus Oberholster. I'm an AEC and Procon technical consultant with Micrographics, and I will be taking you through today's clip. So, all right, I've already started up my project in Revit, and then of course I need to start drawing in my grid. Usually the level 2 is pre-selected, so just make sure that you turn to level 1. And now I'm going to start just defining my grid. So I'm going to start off with, so I already drew a grid on here, so that's why it's a little bit wonky. So I want a portal frame with a 10-meter span. And then I'm going to draw in my portals or my bay spacing as well, which will also be 5 meters. Okay, so I'm going to put in enough for 5 bays. Oops, okay, but I can change that one now. That's not a problem. All right, and then I want to dimension it. So up here, there's the dimension tool. And I want to dimension like this in a chain so that I can set them to equal. Okay, so no matter what I do, okay, you mustn't actually lock them if you want to change it, but I want to show you quickly. So you can see here that this entire spacing is now 20 meters, and between each grid, the spacing is equal. So if I unlock these, and I set that now to 25, you'll see that the spacing remains equal between the grid lines. Okay, so that's very important. If you lock them, then of course you can't change the dimension. All right, so it's just helpful that if you start dragging stuff around, that it doesn't mess with the spacing between the grid lines. So you can do the same here, equal, and then that value right there. Also going to lock them. You actually don't even have to lock all of them. You can just lock one. So if you lock this dimension, it will lock these grid lines in place. All right, so I'm quite happy with their position. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to go into one of my elevations, and I'm just going to set my level. So level 1 is going to be ground floor or just ground. And then level 2 is going to be eave height. Okay, so that's the height of your eave beam. And I'm going to set its height to 8 meters. But now what you want is you want to make sure that you extend these grid lines so that once you change over to the eave height level, you can see these grid lines. Okay, so I'm going to quickly show you how that works. So extend and extend. Okay, so I just want to quickly show you. So we've done it in the east. So the east and west should be fine, but north and south, not yet. So if we go to ground floor, you can see all of your grids, which is great. If you go to eave height, however, you see that these front, or let's call them vertical grid lines, are not visible. Okay, so I'm going to go to north. I'm going to click on these. I'm going to extend them. And now if I go to eave height, you see they are visible there. Okay, so just make sure that you check it out in your different elevations. So east and north are the ones that you can change because the others are mirrors. Okay, so I'm extending these. So it is actually important to extend these grid lines. It's not just so that it looks nice. All right, so let's go to our ground floor. And now what I want to do is I want to put in a column. So I'm going to click column, and then I'm going to click on load family. So I might already add one that's already in the model, but I just want to take you through the workflow. So I've got the South African pack loaded, content pack. I do have a blog with the link where you can find those content packs. Okay, they are created by Autodesk, so they work really, really well. So I'm going to go universal columns. Am I in the right one though? So let me cancel quickly. Let me load my family. And I must make sure, okay, I'm in structural framing, so I won't be able to load any of those families for columns. I need to be in structural columns, go to steel, SA specific, and then universal columns, and I want a 254 by 254 by 167. Okay, I'm just going to overwrite the existing version. That's fine. And I'm going to select that one right there. So I'm going to set this a bit finer so you can't see any of this stuff. At least you can see your grid. Let's make it a little bit bigger. Okay, at least you can see something there. Set this to fine. And then I'm going to snap there, or I could place at grids. So I'm going to just do that again. So I can click here on add grids. So this after I've clicked on the structural column or the column function, and I can highlight this side, I can highlight that side, and click. Oh, sorry. Let me also highlight that side. There we go. And click finish. All right. And now we've got columns at the relevant intersection. So they're not facing the right way though. We want the flanges to be pointing inwards and outwards. So what we're going to do is select one, right click, select all instances visible in view, and we're going to hit spacebar once. And there you go. Okay, another thing I forgot to do actually is I haven't set this up correctly. So I need to select them again. So I'm going to select all these as visible view, delete them. I'm going to go to column, height, and then set it to Eve height. All right, and then I'm going to go for add grid. And holding in control, I can select that side as well and hit finish. Right click, select all instances, and there we go. All right. Here we go to our 3D model view. We'll see here, for some reason, this is still giving me a bit of a problem. So I'm going to select that again. Delete it. Height, ground floor, Eve height. Okay. Let's just check why this is giving us such a problem. So that should actually be fine. Let's see. All right, let's have a quick look. There we go. Perfect. Okay. Every now and again, we'll give you a bit of stick, but that's okay. So select all instances. At least now you saw a couple of times how to do it. Okay, so there we go. All our columns are in. So now I'm going to go to the Eve height level because I want to draw in my rafters. So I'm going to go to beam, load family, universal beam. Oh, hold on. I didn't go to the right place. So I'm going to go back. Need to go to structural framing, steel, SA specific, and universal beam. And I want a quite a large 305, the largest 305 there is. And then that is selected. I'm going to set the detail to fine. And I want to draw it in very specifically. Okay, so there's a specific way of drawing it in. So I'm going to snap to that point there. And I'm going to make my end the apex intersection over there. And from the other side, I'm going to do the same. And there's a reason for that. So I'm going to press exit, go to my 3D view. So the reason for that is when I select these two rafters, I want their end level offsets to be at the same position. So if I drew this beam from left to right and this beam from left to right, its end level offset would be there and its end level offset would be there. So I'm going to select it, end level offset of 1500 millimeters. All right, and that looks terrible, right? But okay, what we need to do is go to our steel tab, go to miter. Just waiting for the miter tool to load. And select these two by holding in control, press enter. And there you go. Okay. It's nice and neat. Okay, we don't have to worry about the edges because what we're going to do is we're going to add connections there. So I'm going to go back to Eve height. I'm going to select these two, copy. I want that intersection point there. And I'm going to snap to all those other intersection points. All right. There is your basic portal frame. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to quickly run through our connections. So here's in steel, there's a little arrow there. Click on that arrow. That is also available in structure. And this is the window that opens up. So we want apex haunch. We want base plate. And then there is one for the beam column connection. So I just want to find that one. So it could be the extended moment end plate. I don't think so. We've got our near frame bolted with haunch. That's not bad. So we can add that one. I don't see any other connections that look like they will satisfy what we need. All right, so let's stay with that. Then we're going to click on connection, select apex, and with control in, I'm going to select the other rafter and press enter. I go to fine. All right, we can see there it is visible. So I'm just going to switch to textures. And then if you right click here, you can propagate this connection. If you want to change anything, you can select the connection and click on override by instance. And then you see the detailed parameters button becomes available. If you click edit, it'll open up a window that looks very similar to the dialog from advanced steel, if not identical. Okay, and here you can modify the parameters of your apex haunch. So I'm going to untick that for now. It doesn't matter if it's ticked. You will be able to do this regardless. But I'm going to right click on that haunch and I want to say propagate connection. And I had a very similar problem the last time I tried to do this. And I'm not sure why it doesn't propagate. So if you know why, let me know. But I'm going to just select these as well. And I'm just going to continue on. Let's just continue on with that. Okay. All right. I'm going to figure out why that propagate connection doesn't work. And I'll definitely have some info next month, which is 2024. So I hope that you get some good rest over the holiday season. But let's deal with that later. So I'm going to go to connection. And now I'm going to go to near frame bolted. And I'm going to select these two. And there we go. Again, you can select it, override by instance. So I'm going to right click here and I'm going to click propagate connection. Okay, and that should have done it. There we go. Okay, so that's what's supposed to happen. All right, that was what's supposed to happen to the apexes as well. And for some reason it didn't. But there you go. Propagated it to both sides. And we're going to do the same with our base plate. Let's enter. And I right click and propagate connection. All right, so that's it. That's the basics for your portals, your base plates, your beam column connections, and your apex connections. There will be other clips in the future that deal with your purlins, which will be your beam systems, and the same with your goods. So I hope this clip helps you. Please throw a like, subscribe, comment. If there's anything specific you want to see, throw it in the comments. And also, if you know why this propagate connection is not working on the apex, let me know. But I will be checking in on it as well and releasing some content next month. So have a awesome holiday season, and check all of you in 2024.